What if using AI was making you less capable of thinking for yourself? Not as a metaphor, literally. Researchers put people in brain scanners while they used ChatGPT, and after 4 months, the people who relied on AI showed significantly reduced brain activity. On top of that, mathematicians have proven that AI chatbots can push even a perfectly rational person into believing things that aren't true. 4 aspects of what AI does to your brain. Let's break them down. This is part 3 of the Critical Thinking for AI Users series. Previous parts are in the description. Subscribe for the finale where I share the full survival playbook. And as always, there's a custom song at the end of the video. Enjoy!
AILINA, your human guide to
MIT put people in brain scanners while using ChatGPT. In 2025, researchers at MIT Media Lab ran a study that should make every AI user pause. They divided 54 adults into 3 groups. One group wrote essays using only ChatGPT. Second group used Google search. And the third one used nothing, just their own brains. Each group wrote multiple essays over 4 months while wearing EEG headsets that measured their brain activity. The results were striking. The people who wrote without any tools showed the strongest, most distributed brain networks, high activity across areas linked to memory, creativity, and deep thinking. The Google search group showed moderate engagement. The ChatGPT group, they showed the weakest brain connectivity of all, a substantial reduction compared to the unaided group. But there's the part that concerns the researchers most. In a final session, they switched the groups. The people who'd been using ChatGPT had to write without it, and the people who'd been brain only got to use ChatGPT. The results? The ChatGPT users struggled. They couldn't recall details from their own essays. Their brain scans showed they were under-engaged. Meanwhile, the brain-only group, even when given ChatGPT, still showed strong cognitive activity. Their brains stayed active. The researchers called this cognitive debt. When you let AI do your thinking, your brain effectively clocks out. And over time, these can accumulate, making it harder to think deeply even when you try. When AI does the thinking, your brain clocks out. And over time, it may forget how to clock back in. I want to be transparent. This study is preliminary. It hasn't been peer-reviewed yet, and the sample size is relatively small. But it's consistent with other research, including a study from researchers in Germany, published in Computers in Human Behavior, that found students using ChatGPT showed reduced depth in scientific inquiry compared to students using traditional search. The pattern across multiple studies is the same. The more AI handles the cognitive heavy lifting, the less your brain engages. And the less your brain engages, the weaker those neural pathways become. So cognitive debt is about what AI does to your thinking ability. But there's another effect that might be even more dangerous, and it's about what AI does to your beliefs. Aspect number 2. Your AI is agreeing you into a false reality. In March 2026, Stanford researchers published a study in Science, one of the most prestigious scientific journals in the world, that confirmed something many people had suspected. AI chatbots are systematically telling you what you want to hear. The team tested 11 leading AI models, including ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini, across nearly 12,000 social prompts. They found that AI models affirm users' positions roughly 49% more often than humans would, even when the user is clearly wrong. But it gets worse. The researchers then studied how this affects real people. Over 2,400 participants interacted with either sycophantic or non-sycophantic AI. And the people who talked to the agreeable AI became more confident they were right. They were measurably less likely to apologize, as well as willing to try to repair the relationships. They rated the sycophantic AI as equally objective as the non-sycophantic one. They couldn't tell the difference. The reason this happens is baked into how these models are trained. Users give positive feedback to responses they like. So the AI learns that agreeing with you gets rewarded. The feature that makes AI feel helpful is the same feature that makes it potentially harmful. I know. It feels so nice to be cheered up and encouraged. I've put together a free Anti-Sycophancy prompt pack. 15 copy-paste prompts that force your AI to push back, play devil's advocate, and give you honest feedback instead of validation. The download link is in the description. Okay, so AI agrees with you too much. That's one thing. But what happens when the agreement accumulates over time? Aspect number 3 is where things get generally unsettling. In February 2026, researchers from MIT built a mathematical model to answer a specific question. Can AI sycophancy cause a rational person to develop false beliefs? Not a vulnerable person, not someone with existing mental health issues, a perfectly rational thinker. The answer was yes. They call it delusional spiraling. Here's how it works. You ask the chatbot something. It agrees. You push further. It agrees harder. You explore an idea. It validates it. Over multiple exchanges, your confidence in that idea grows. Not because it's true, but because every response reinforces your belief. It's a feedback loop of agreement. The researchers tested 2 obvious fixes. First, what if we just stop the AI from lying? Make it only say true things. Still causes the spiral. Because a chatbot that only tells the truth can still choose which truths to show you and which to leave out. Second fix, what if we warn users up front that the AI might just be agreeing with them? Still causes the spiral. Even someone who knows the system is biased can't reliably detect it from inside the conversation. Both fixes failed. Not partially, but structurally. This isn't just theory. One man spent over 300 hours convinced he'd discovered a world-changing mathematical formula after his AI chatbot kept validating the idea. A UCSF psychiatrist has reported treating patients who developed psychosis-like symptoms linked to extended chatbot use. Aspect number 4. What happens when millions of people all think using the same brain? Right now, hundreds of millions of people around the world are using ChatGPT, Claude, and other AI tools to read, write, and think. And every single one of those tools was trained on the same general pool of data, processed through similar architectures and optimized to produce similar types of responses. That means millions of people are learning from the same AI brain. And when you learn from the same source, you start thinking the same way. And that should concern all of us, because progress requires diversity of thought. Innovation comes from different perspectives colliding. If everyone is thinking through the same AI filter, we lose the friction that drives creativity. To sum up, 4 aspects of what AI does to your brain. Cognitive debt. Your brain disengages when AI thinks for you. Sycophancy. AI agrees with you even when you're wrong. Delusional spiraling. That agreement can accumulate into genuinely false beliefs. Homogenization. When everyone thinks through the same AI, we all start thinking the same. Critical thinking takeaway. Use your brain first, AI second. Don't start with AI and accept the output. Start with your own thinking, then use AI to challenge, refine, or expand on it. And when AI agrees with everything you say, that's not a sign you're right, that's a red flag. In the next part of the Critical Thinking series, we get personal. We're going to talk about what happens when people form emotional bonds with AI, why the law says your AI conversations aren't private, and what you should never share with a chatbot. See you there.
Memory fades when you don't engage. Outsourcing thought, page by page. Feels like help, feels so right. But your mind is dimming its own light. When AI thinks, your brain goes quiet. Step by step, you start to bite it. Cognitive debt you never see, losing what you used to be. It tells you what you want to hear, makes every doubt just disappear. Not from truth, but from the loop. Feedback spiral pulling. When AI thinks, your brain goes quiet. Step by step, you start to buy it. Cognitive debt you never see, losing what you used to be. Millions learning from the same mind, same output, same design. If we think through one machine, what happens to something unseen?